Welcome to Your World, Your Newton. You know, sometime back in the 1700s, an apple dropped, and Sir Isaac Newton had a bright idea: the laws of gravity. It was a turning point in history. Well, modern physics, astronomy, the space program. Newton's intelligence gave us a new way of looking at the world. And now, 200 years later, the Apple has created another bright idea. Introducing the Newton Message Pad from Apple, a remarkable new way of looking at the world.
I have had 6 beers already today, so...
Jeez.
Yeah.
No need.
Okay, let's get this shizzle on the rizzle. Hello, and welcome to the CultCast, the best 30-minute Apple conversation, 30-plus minute, maybe the longest 30-minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Stefan Elijah. Joining me today, 2 incredible gentlemen. The first, a man who will try to iron-claw your junk after a few rounds of ales. I'm speaking, of course, about Mr. Leander Caney.
Hey, come on, let's bust his intro.
You obviously don't remember. My fellow witness and fellow recipient of the Iron Claw, one Mr. Buster Icahn. You apparently don't remember this, Leander.
I remember now.
Yeah.
I don't remember clawing anyone's junk.
I remember this.
There's a reason we call it the Iron Claw. You went crazy on that junk. And I was like, I think Leander's been drinking. Anyway, he's like, doesn't even remember this.
I don't remember this at all.
We have a great show lined up for you guys. So many great Apple topics to talk about. And podcasting is Churn 10. We'll be talking a little bit about the art form and entertainment of podcasting itself. And we're going to be doing an all-new Get to Know Your Cultist at the end of the show. We've got 2 great questions from 2 of our listeners who contributed those on Facebook.com/TheCultCast. But before we jump into the show, I want to thank our sponsors, Lynda.com, that's LYNDA.com, with now over 2,800 high-quality video courses taught by industry-leading experts. Lynda.com will help you master virtually any application, keep your skills sharp, all at your own time and at your own pace. Check it out for free for 7 days. Head on over to lynda.com/cultcast. I also want to thank Squarespace for supporting this episode, the only one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website, portfolio, or online store. Try it out. Head on over to squarespace.com and sign up for a 2-week free trial. And if you like what you see, you can use the code CultCast at checkout and you'll save 10% off any order. Thank you, Squarespace, for supporting this episode. No, Leander, you don't remember CES? What was that, Buster, 2012?
No, that was just this year. I think it was was it at like that Beats concert we went to? Outside of it, I think. I can't remember.
I'm still recovering mentally and emotionally, though. Let's start with this, guys. Maybe one of you could tell me, what is the Ice Bucket Challenge? Do you guys know?
Really?
No. I mean, I've heard a little bit about it, and I saw Tim Cook get dumped over the head with ice, and then I saw Dr. Dre get dumped over the head with ice, but I know it's about, was it Lou Gehrig's disease?
Yeah.
So this is like genius marketing. What exactly are these people pouring ice over their heads for?
Well, in order to get out of $100 penalty fee to ALS charities, you have to dump a bucket of ice on your head.
So in order to avoid paying money to a charity, you have to dump ice over your head. What a valiant cause. No wonder we're seeing so many of these videos.
Yeah, and all these rich guys doing it. That's great.
It's not just rich, like mega ultra rich.
Right.
Like Tim Cook. In all fairness, he probably donated a lot of money as well.
I think he said he was doing both, donating and doing the...
Dr. Dre, on the other hand, he took the ice.
He's too hard up for that, yeah.
Did you guys see his video where he did it?
Yeah, his was actually cool. It was he did slow-mo, you know.
Do they all not do slow-mo? Because I think I saw Bill Gates and his was slow-mo.
Oh, Bill Gates did slow-mo. Bill Gates, I think, was the best one. And Hulk Hogan's.
Hulk Hogan did one?
Hulk Hogan did 2 buckets at once,
brother.
while ripping his shirt off.
He was ripping his shirt off at the same time?
Oh, really?
He's nearly 70, but he still got it.
He still got it?
Yeah.
He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's forever ripped.
Yeah, I don't know. Arnold doesn't look as hot as he did.
Well, he doesn't look as hot as he did, but he looks a lot better than other 70-year-olds.
It's true.
How old is he now? Like 70?
60-something.
He's 60-something?
Yeah.
I got to check out Terry Hogan's video. So he's like literally doing the ooh yeah.
Oh yeah,
the ice is going over him. His nipples are just like poking out. He's just ripping his shirt off.
Yo, maniacs! This is Hulk Hogan here, and this is the ALS challenge. That's why I got double buckets, brother. Now I'm gonna challenge Johnny Manziel.
He looks awesome. He challenges Sylvester Stallone to it, too.
Oh, did he do his video yet?
Not yet, no.
So then you do the ice bucket challenge, and then when you do it, you get to challenge 3 of your, like, friends or something to do it?
Yeah.
So Dr. Dre challenged Kendrick Lamar. He challenged
Eminem.
I wonder if Eminem's going to do it.
And Snoop Dogg, too. That could be a good one.
Snoop Dogg is just going to put some ice cubes in his bong and dump that over his head. Yeah. That's going to be easy for him. In other fun, kind of Apple-related news, one of my favorite CEOs of all time, Steve Ballmer, is back at it. He's back in the spotlight where he belongs. He's yelling. He's spitting everywhere. He's running around with his arms in the air, getting all crazy.
Do we have any Clipper fans here? I can't hear you! We're gonna be hardcore.
Buster, you said you saw this video, yeah?
Yeah, where he was at like a Clippers fan appreciation day or something and just going nuts for everyone.
Yes!
I mean, he's celebrating his $2 billion purchase of the Clippers, going just absolutely nuts for it.
Did that just close or something? Is that why all of a sudden he's in the media about this?
Yeah, they just made it official, I think a week ago or so.
Okay, so spent $2 billion. He is the owner of the Clippers now. I think this is perfect for him. I'm a fan of Steve Ballmer.
Oh, I think so too. He was always like the perfect like CEO / head coach.
He was already a mascot, right? He's transcended CEO.
Yeah.
He is their mascot. And when I saw this video, it brought back so many warm memories of him screaming developer on stage, getting just as sweaty as any man could. And the fans were going crazy. They loved it. This is the perfect venue for him. I mean, in tech, you got to say, no one really took him seriously, and tech people tend to not really be as excitable as like basketball fans. This is going to be perfect for him.
Yeah, you got to be like, ridiculously like, enthused about, somebody shooting the basket and stuff. It's perfect for him, like little things. Which he also quit Microsoft too this week. So,
well, now I thought he was already done with Microsoft.
He was on the board and he quit the board this week.
Wow.
Why did he say he was doing that? To spend more time
with
yelling at
Clippers and his family probably, and cocaine.
Yeah. Cocaine. I wonder how many billions Steve Ballmer, Bomb Dog, has left. Didn't he have like 39?
I think
before?
he had, it was like the Clippers sale was, a fraction of his money.
Was that all of his own money?
Yeah, it was. He probably has a leader. He probably has an ownership group, but I bet a majority of it is all his.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having $2 billion just laying around.
You don't have $2 billion laying around?
Not right now.
Man, I can lend you some if you're.
Bought a new car. So I'm doing it.
You bought another new car?
No, I just said that.
Oh.
I don't know why I came out.
Leander's just mumbling things that aren't true right now.
I went on holiday, I went on vacation.
Well, if you haven't seen the Steve Ballmer video, I highly encourage you to seek it out on YouTube. It's highly entertaining. And as I said, it warms the heart to see that he's back and back at it. This is going to be his golden era. This is where he belongs out there. Either that or in the Colosseum in Roman times, fighting people with axes and stuff, just breaking skulls.
That was hardcore, baby.
He would have been great in there. Every time he made a kill, he would just like pump his arms up and down with his battle axes, and everyone would cheer, throw him roses. He would have been God in that time. All right, let's say we move into some actual Apple news. Let's start with one of the biggest stories this week was that leaked schematic. Here we go again. Cue up the Austin Powers soundbite.
Why won't you die?
NFC won't die. There's another rumor that we're going to get NFC on iPhone 6. Buster, you wrote the story. Why are people thinking that we may see NFC back in iPhone 6?
I don't know. It's everybody keeps bringing this rumor back up. It seems like every week. There's this website called Geek Bar. They found a schematic, the wiring schematic for a NFC chip for the iPhone 6. Mm-hmm. And it's by the same people that make the M7. So I don't know. Supposedly it's, gonna come to the iPhone 6. It's the same one that's been used by Sony and Samsung. But I don't know. What do you think Apple's actually going to add NFC this year?
You know what? You guys are going to make fun of me. I actually think this is feasible.
Okay. All right.
After all this time and the rumors that we've heard that Apple actually might be building a payment system into the next iPhone,
right.
and now that we're going to have Touch ID and you'll be able to run around using your thumb to authorize your purchases, I actually think this is plausible.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
I know that Geek Bar had another rumor that, was this the Qualcomm modem rumor? Was this the same one, Buster?
Yeah, they also did that one as well.
So another rumor came out from Geek Bar, who I guess kind of has mixed records. So we can't really take this as fact. It's not like.
What do you mean
the
they
Wall
have a
Street
mixed
Journal.
record? They do or they don't?
They do have a mixed record.
They do. Like
Sometimes
the same
they're
day,
right, sometimes they're wrong.
same time that they leaked the NFC thing, they also said that the iPhone would get like only a gigabyte of RAM, but that was actually DRAM and not regular RAM. So they kind of,
Oh my god!
yeah,
What jerks!
it works,
I bet they
right?
felt so stupid. Yeah, DRAM. Everyone knows that's totally different.
They do, though.
Yeah, actually, they do. That's a good point.
Actually, I don't. But anyway.
DRAM takes on a whole different meaning to Leander Katie. Buster, I think your mic just disconnected.
All right, am I here now?
There you go.
Sorry, I don't know. Skype just kicked my Rode mic off
What?
for some reason.
A freaking jerk.
But I'm back.
Okay, well, let's talk about this Qualcomm modem.
What about the NFC? You didn't really finish.
What about the NFC? We did
You didn't finish
it.
your thoughts on it.
Oh, didn't I? Because we lost Buster?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'd like to hear, Leander, what do you think is going to happen with NFC? Do you think it's really going to happen? Or, I don't know, it seemed like Apple was always favoring Bluetooth LE.
They dissed NFC in the past, right? And they said it, I was reading an interesting piece from a mobile payments expert that was saying that, NFC, I think, is probably the easiest way to do authentication, secure authentication for mobile payment systems. And I think even if Apple uses Bluetooth LE, which they seem to favor for iBeacons and stuff like that, there's no secure initial handshake. So it's a big gap in the system, and NFC bridges that. So the thing is this expert, I read this really long thing all about NFC and Bluetooth and iBeacons and stuff like that, and he concluded in the end he still didn't think Apple was going to do it. I don't know why. After he'd spent all this time saying that, that it was probably like the one necessary component. So yeah, I was a little bit confused by that. I was going to write it up, and then by the time I got to the end, I was like, what is this guy talking about? And then it was too long to go reread. So I went out, forget it, I'll just go get lunch.
I'll just get lunch instead. Always a good idea. Along the same lines of Geek Bar rumors, so they also said that iPhone 6 will use a new Qualcomm modem, which will increase your data speed by up to 50%, LTE data speed, I should say. Mm-hmm. I mean, you'll definitely be chewing through your data faster, but it also means that when you put your iPhone in modem mode, you guys can't do that, I don't think, but I can.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
You can connect and actually use your data faster, and it will increase theoretical speeds from 100 megabits per second to 150 megabits per second. That's pretty freaking fast. I mean,
that's crazy.
My Comcast download speed is only 50 megabits per second.
On your broadband?
On my broadband, yeah.
And that's really fast. That's really fast.
That's pretty fast, yeah. I mean, in Seattle, we have one of the faster Comcast offerings available. I mean, granted, I'm paying $690 a month for it.
They got a T1 5 gig optic line.
My other option involves tin cans and string going between the two. But yeah, this would actually be awesome if they ended up implementing this. And I guess this LTE modem has been around for a while, since February of 2012. So it's commonly available, and it's pretty low energy too. So even though you get increased data speeds, you actually shouldn't really be chewing through your battery life any faster than you normally would.
Well, who uses it now if it's been around since 2012?
What's that?
Is it in any devices right now, if it's been around all that time?
I believe so, although I couldn't
That's
name it off
two-year-old
the top of my
modem?
head.
Wow.
What's that?
2-year-old modem.
Yeah, I was reading that there's another newer one that's out that some of the Android phones are using. Buster, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a newer one that does 300 megabits per second.
Whoa. Oh.
Megabeats?
Megabeats. But I think
Dr. Dre's phone.
probably the reason why Apple went for the smaller bump is just for, like you said, battery performance.
Right,
this one
power,
performs
yeah.
well under heavy temperature, high performance and stuff. So
Yeah, and I read the newer one was kind of it's so new that they're just not really sure what its performance will be like, so they kind of wanted to go with like a tested technology. It's weird, isn't it? Some of the technologies Apple's so cutting edge on, and yet we still don't have Blu-ray players commonly available from Apple for any of their computers. Although they disk drives, I guess.
You'll never get one, I don't think. But yeah, it is. I think sometimes especially the LTE modems, they've always had a history of waiting on that. Like with the 3G, they waited for that. Same thing with LTE. They're usually the last ones to adopt it because of battery life.
Right.
Well, we got some more Apple stories here. We're going to be talking about this other leaked shell that came out this week that everyone was talking about. This thing actually looked pretty legitimate. And Apple won an Emmy. We'll be talking about that. But before we do that, I want to play this interview that I did with lynda.com. I got to talk to one of their instructors, and we talked about audio applications. This guy is such a pro, too. He edits in Logic. He edits in all these different audio applications. He makes sound bites for movies. He edits movies. He edits audio. And I got to have a cool conversation with him about what applications he uses, when he uses which ones he likes most. So I want to play that right now. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And when we come back, we'll hop back into some iPhone 6 rumors. And we got a lot of show left. Stick with us. We'll be right back, yo. Ooh, that ice is so cold. Ooh, it's so icy. I was thinking to myself, really, San Diego? Do I sound that surfer? I kind of do. That's where I thought you were going. Hey guys, it's Erfon. I'm here with Scott Hirsch, a lynda.com instructor. But not only is he an instructor, he's a sound designer and an editor and a mixer for film and video, a musician, an audio engineer. Hey, Scott.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. And you also teach Logic Pro, you teach Pro Tools, and you teach Reason. So you're kind of teaching all the very popular audio editing classes. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I like to keep it real. Keep all the programs going just so I can remember all the keystrokes from all of them.
Yeah, that sounds like a challenge in and of itself. And I'm actually using Logic Pro X. I'm using your Logic Pro X Essentials course on lynda.com. I've been telling our listeners that I recently switched, don't laugh, I recently switched from GarageBand to Logic Pro X because I wanted to edit like the big boys do.
Yeah.
And it helped me make the transition because that's a super complicated application.
It definitely is, but it's really cool that you can go right from GarageBand into Logic with no problem.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I was surprised how similar they were, and you really can go from one application to the other because, as I learned from you, Logic Pro X has an advanced mode that you can kind of activate to really turn on the powerful features.
That's right.
So let me ask you this. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer Logic or do you prefer Pro Tools?
I like them both, to be honest.
Come on.
Reasons. No, seriously. I when I'm composing music, working on commercial music, or even just getting sort of a demo together, something that I need to get up and running really quickly, I use Logic because it's so fast and so easy to make a great sounding track right away. And when I'm recording a band or a lot of times working in film and video, I use Pro Tools, and I use them both interchangeably, but really there's different times. I like to think about applications kind of just like different instruments, like I might play a Fender Telecaster for one song, and I might play a Gibson Les Paul for another song, and there's reasons why you would choose one over the other. And I like to choose audio apps for the same reasons. They kind of do the same thing in the end. A lot of them all have the same goal. You can record a band just as well in Logic as you can in Pro Tools.
I've heard that Logic Pro X is better for creating music, and Pro Tools is better for creating audio effects, maybe editing a movie, editing a podcast. What do you say to that?
I think there's some truth in that a little bit, although, again, like if you wanted to make music with Pro Tools, you just have to use it and get around some of the ideas of it, and you can make just as much music in Pro Tools as you can in Logic. Like ultimately, if you look at sort of the specs, they both do almost identically the same thing. There's just a slightly different way of going about it. So one, I think in Logic it's a much faster and it's much more of a complete package, which is really cool because you you buy the application, which is actually incredibly cheap for what you get, I might add, like under $200.
Yeah, how much is Pro Tools?
It changes all the time, so I'm not even going to quote a price or anything like that.
Okay.
But what you don't get with Pro Tools as much as you do with Logic is a comprehensive set of instruments and samples and other stuff. You do get some things with Pro Tools, but with Logic you have a very comprehensive tool to make incredible sounding music with. So for that kind of thing, you know, for someone who just wants to make a really good sounding track right away, it's awesome. You know, and I would say the same thing on the other side of the coin for Pro Tools is someone wanting to edit sound for movie or just get into basic sound design. Just the functionality and the way that it can work with that kind of stuff is awesome too. So again, there's just different times, different reasons. I tell my students, learn them all. Like really, you need to have, it's like part of your toolkit as an audio professional.
What could people expect going through something like your Logic Pro X Essentials course? What could people expect to learn about Logic from maybe not knowing anything to going through the end of that course?
Yeah, well, my goal is to get past the initial learning curve. You can expect to not be a pro expert at Logic, but you'll know how to use it. And from there, you can take your own course and practice and go farther along. But it won't be a scary mystery, which it is for some people, because it's the reason why it's so awesome is because it's also so complex. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it can be a little intimidating at first, but that's the point of this course, is to get you past that so you feel comfortable and you're able to make music.
Or a podcast.
Or a podcast, exactly.
Any other audio courses you want to plug while I got you here?
I do. There's one course that exists, and it's called Synth Programming Basics. So if you're into synthesis, which a lot of people are these days, they're pretty intimidating at first. And so this course is designed to get you to understand what goes into synthesis. We're talking about oscillators, filters, LFOs, all these fun things that just make the craziest sounds you can ever imagine.
Well, I've been talking with Scott, and if you're interested in learning about Logic Pro X, if you're interested in learning about synths, interested about learning about Pro Tools, you want to learn more about how to edit a podcast or music, go check out Scott's courses. Head on over to lynda.com/cultcast. And when you do, you'll get a 7-day free trial so you can learn all you want. You might even be able to make it through all Scott's courses if you don't sleep at all and don't eat. You can make it through all of it in 7 days. But if you don't, that's okay, because you can revisit the material anytime you want. You can search for stuff that you forgot, find it, and revisit it later. Head on over to lynda.com/cultcast to start your free trial. I want to thank Lynda for sponsoring this episode. Scott, thanks for joining me for a little while. It's been fun talking with you.
Airpon, thank you very much too. It's been a blast.
It's all over my body parts.
Who was the guy that dumped the water on Tim Cookie's head?
Oh God!
Tim Cook didn't do it himself?
No, it was a musician. I can't remember his name.
Was it Dave Grohl?
No,
It was at the Apple Beer Bash, right, on a Friday night?
Yeah, it was this dude with long dreads. I can't remember his name. Some like activist musician.
He's an activist?
Yeah, for Diversity Week.
Jeez. You know what I was actually surprised at? Apple seems to be, they released that diversity report. They actually seem like they're pretty diverse. I mean, they get a lot of white guys working there, but they have, their percentage of white people working there is actually less or more than the percentage of white people in the U.S. So they're doing pretty good.
What?
You're
The percentage
sure
of white
about
people working
that?
at Apple is
So
more
I
than
think like, wait, am I saying this backwards?
I think
Hold on, wait.
It's,
Believe you are.
you're saying it's actually whiter than the general population.
It's
I think you're trying to say
actually
the opposite,
100%
right?
white.
They're actually more diverse than the general population.
Thank
according
you.
to that report.
That's what I've been, trying to say and failing miserably at.
But it's almost exclusively because of the retail stores, right?
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I
Oh.
think that's where
Gosh, that's
where
actually a
the
good point.
diversity, comes from, is the fact they employ, more women and ethnic minorities in the stores, not necessarily at Apple HQ.
So they're working on improving their diversity in their actual corporate offices.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, they updated their page. I mean, the executive page, all the top executives. I mean, it's almost all white
people.
men. Yeah, but then the next level down,
It was looking pretty pasty on that page, yeah.
it was hard to see the faces against the white background there.
Yeah, I was like, are there any photos here? I don't see any.
But then the next level down at the sort of vice president level, there was a lot more diversity there, and a lot more women too.
That's great. Excuse me. All right, let's jump right back into it. Buster, you probably saw this leaked iPhone 6 that came out, and it looked like it was the first one that we've seen that was actually fully assembled. Mm-hmm. What did you think about it? Real? Not real?
I think it looks probably real. It looks gorgeous.
It looks really good. Leander, did you see it? Leander?
No, I did. Well, I didn't study it. I just saw the headline. Yeah, I saw the picture. It looked great. Yeah,
it looks really awesome. I think the thing that concerns me though is we keep seeing the 4.7s, the parts. We actually haven't really seen very much for the 5.5 at all. Buster, have you seen anything that makes you think that it actually exists?
There was like a home button flex cable. Very exciting part a few weeks ago.
Those are Leander's favorite kind of parts. He gets he texts me like no matter what time of day or night. Dude, the new flex cable's
Check
out this flex cable.
But I think that's the only thing, and that was for a 5.5 iPhone. But as far as like rear shells, front displays, I don't think we've seen anything.
I recently was reading that story about how that Thai official tweeted about 2 new iPhone 6 models. If you haven't read the story, apparently Thailand has this rule where people who are going to be releasing new hardware have to talk about it with the Thai government, and then they have to make an announcement that this hardware is coming out. And apparently this Thai official thought he was, being discreet about the new Apple iPhones, but he tweeted about the fact that there were 2 new iPhone 6 models that had been approved to be shipped into Thailand. And at first, this got me really excited because I thought, this is going to be like a 4.7 and a 5.5 iPhone 6. But the more I thought about it, it kind of seems to point towards like an iPhone 5C type model and then a regular
Right,
iPhone
that's what
6.
I was thinking. I mean, just because he said there's 2 new models, that could definitely just be the 5C like Apple released last year.
Exactly, because you would think there would need to be 3 models. The base model, the 4-inch-ish model, and then like the larger one. So now I'm kind of thinking this actually means that we're not going to see a 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, there haven't been a ton of signs for the 5.5 at all, so I wouldn't get my hopes up to see it next month.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Let's talk about Apple's Emmy. We talked about this quite a while ago. There was a commercial that came out with the angst-ridden teen.
Yeah.
Leander, describe anything in your life. Your teens aren't really angst-ridden, though.
Well, they're moody and they're always on their devices. I mean, there was...
Are they?
Yeah, I was just looking through my pictures from our vacation, and there they are on their iPhones, and here they are on their iPhones, and here they are taking selfies with their iPhones.
Did they smile at all during the vacation?
Yeah, they smiled. Yeah, they had a pretty good time. They're not that moody.
So this teen in this commercial, if you recall, it was like a Christmas time commercial. He was not really interacting with his family, and he kind of seemed to be disconnected from all the celebration. And then at the end, it was shown that he had been recording everything on his iPhone, and he edited everything together, and he really was such a deep feeler after all, and everyone was like so touched. I actually thought it was a really good commercial.
It was a clever ad, yeah.
It was a really clever ad. And they won an Emmy for that, beating out ads from Budweiser. Who makes just excellent. Actually, their ads are really good. You guys
some are good. Yeah. Some ads are good.
And let's see, who else did they beat out? No, I didn't write it here. Oh, there we go. General Electric. Really? They had a great ad. And then Nike, who also makes good ads. So Apple has added an Emmy to their roster of awards. I'm glad to see they're back on track. Remember the Apple Genius, or the what they called the Apple Genius commercials, where that guy was like in like 3 of them, and then he disappeared from the face of the earth. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
Remember, it was like the guy goes into like the Apple store. He needs something fixed, and the genius was there, and he was really upbeat, and he was trying to help him. You don't even remember. It's wiped from your memory banks. Buster, you remember this?
Those genius, right? the genius ads with the annoying dude on like the plane, and like.
This is your captain. Is there an Apple Genius on board?
I'm a genius.
Oh, I'm about to board the flight. Can you help me make this iPhoto presentation? They were horrible.
They're back on track. In other cool Apple news, Apple stock is back at an all-time high. It looks like it closed recently at $100.53, which the pre-split price on that was $702.10. This just makes me wish that I had still kept my Apple stock. Apparently, there was a 1.4% rise in their stock recently. People were saying that it's because RBC and Morgan Stanley are claiming that Apple's fall lineup is going to be more extraordinary than ever. What do you think, Leander? Apple product line more extraordinary than ever?
Yeah, I know.
Are you excited? I know how you love hyperbole.
Well, I was,
this.
but now I have to listen to this podcast. Now I'm wondering if there's going to be a big phablet iPhone after all, and now I'm going to go dump all my stock. I mean, I'm bummed out.
I wouldn't do that. I think my favorite part about this story is Carl Icahn on Twitter said, "I believed Apple would be one of my no-brainers. Anyone who invested at that time would be up 53%, including dividends." Who is this guy? He's like 80 years old, isn't he? He's on Twitter telling us all how it was just like, oh, this is a no-brainer for me. I invested and I'm up 53%.
Right. He's always boasting about how much stock he's got. Now is he now one of the biggest single shareholders?
Yeah, he's got over like 4 billion shares of Apple.
Well,
yeah, so he's pumping it up. I'd heard two things though. I mean, some people are saying that like it's still underpriced.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, when you think about it, it could be.
Yeah, right.
With,
and I
with
think
iWatch coming out.
Right.
I mean,
I know, yeah, exactly. And even just what was with the health data, the whole
health kit.
Just health kit alone, if it brought in health data and allowed people to manage their data, could be worth billions of dollars. But then other people are saying it's like a lot of these big investment houses are trying to pump it up, right, to try to cash out now, get some profit.
Well, that's the thing about Carl Icahn. So he's on Twitter all the time, and he's always talking about Apple. Does he have a legal requirement to be doing this? Because if not, it does kind of seem that he is just pumping up his own stock.
Well, I think there's a lot of investors who could definitely be pumping up Apple's stock for sure with, these expectations that the product pipeline is going to be huge. I don't know if Icahn is doing that. I mean, he's been saying the same thing for over a year. But I think, there was like a big flurry of reports over the last week that were just like super positive for Apple, like all the hires that they made a year ago are suddenly like, oh, a great idea,
Huh. What was Carl Icahn doing before, talking about Apple on Twitter? Was he just like some prolific investor that just had a bunch of billions of dollars sitting around?
Yeah, he's always been a very famous investor. He's, an activist investor who usually invests in companies to try to get them to change up, what they're doing. So that he makes billions. Oh, didn't he? I think he did. He wanted eBay to break off PayPal. I think he was the last big thing that he was really pushing for.
Pretty good idea.
But yeah, I mean, he was big in the 80s.
Why didn't you think about that, Leander?
Back when, hostile takeovers were in vogue, where his investment firm would buy billions of shares and take over a company, get the profits and then, go off to the next one.
Yeah. Barbarians of the gate.
Yeah.
You know who he kind of reminds me of from his Twitter picture and all the pictures I see about him on the internet?
Who?
Any ideas? Any guesses?
For me, it's always, what's it called? From Wall Street, the Gordon Gekko in the way, like an old Gordon Gekko.
That's a good one, yeah.
Leander, does he remind you of anyone?
I'd have to go look at some pictures. I can't remember what he looks like.
To me, he looks, if you put him in a robe and give him a hat, he's going to look exactly like Saruman.
Your love of the halfling's leaf has clearly slowed your mind.
He does. From Lord of the Rings. Yeah. He looks, every time I look at him, I'm like, dude, that's Saruman.
He needs a longer beard. And
he just needs a longer beard. And one of those orbs that you can use to communicate with, Sauron. All right. Anyway.
You mean Christopher Lee?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a famous British actor.
He's British too?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
All the best actors are.
What was his... That's very, very true. What was his biggest film before... he was doing the Lord of the Rings movies? What do you remember him for?
He's been in 1,000,001 things. He was, the general in... I'm sorry. That was... oh, my goodness. I don't know. He's played Dracula, Frankenstein. He's been in 101 really bad British B movies.
Oh, he's been in a lot of bad British movies? Really?
He's more famous in Britain. I can't think now, though, what he's most famous for. I'm going to have to cheat. All right, I'll come back to you with that.
Okay. I'll expect a full report. Let's talk about podcasting before we head on over to get to know your cultist. Podcasting has officially turned 10 years old. Guys, happy birthday!
Thanks.
We are the champions. I thought this was pretty cool, and I wanted to read you guys some facts about podcasting because as a medium, it's growing. And I kind of feel like we came into podcasting late, but apparently we're still on the cutting edge of technology here, because most people still don't listen to podcasts, although from 2011 forward, they've actually been growing like crazy. And if you listen to podcasts, you are in good company, because strangely enough, here are some interesting statistics about podcasting. Odds are, if you listen to a podcast, I'm about to blow someone's mind right here, because I'm about to read them everything about their life. You are a Hispanic male, age 18 to 29. You have a college degree, and you make between $50,000 and $75,000 a year. I was kind of surprised that most of the listeners are males, but I looked at our numbers, and guess what our percentage of male listeners is?
It's probably over 80%.
Leander, what do you think?
97%.
Actually, Leander's pretty close.
Wow.
Our listenership is, according to our statistics, is 92% male.
Sausage Club.
It's the sausage cast. It's like when you go to one of those parties that your friends invite you to, and they tell you it's going to be really fun. You get there, and it's just all dudes. And they're dancing together and stuff. Like, and you're kind of like, yeah, I don't really know if I want to hang out here anymore. But podcasting has turned 10 years old, and it's growing like crazy as a medium. I'm kind of curious in the next 5 to 10 years if it's going to keep up this kind of growth, because I really enjoy podcasts. That's probably how I consume most of my entertainment. And there's so many great podcasts out there now that you can listen to.
You don't watch TV?
I hardly ever watch TV.
You just listen to podcasts?
No, almost never.
See, I would say I'm the opposite. I hardly
watch a lot of TV?
I never listen to podcasts.
Well, you had to listen to this one so many times.
Yeah. After being a part of this one, I'm just
totally
like, there can't be anything good out there.
Enough to put you off forever.
Well, Leander, do you ever listen to podcasts, or is this the only one that you listen to because you have to?
Well, I started trying to download some music podcasts to try to find some good music ones, but you know, you can never find anything I like.
You can never find any good music?
No.
Really? You should try, I've actually been using a new podcast app called Overcast. Buster, have you tried it?
From Marco Aramont?
Yeah. So I bring this up because I've recently been playing with it, and it's great because, A, it's free. So you can download it. It's free. It has advanced features that cost about $5. But so far, I haven't turned any of those on because I haven't needed to. And I know there's a lot of people out there that use the Apple Podcast app to listen to our podcast. And some people have problems with it. I haven't really, but the Overcast app is really well designed and has a lot of really great features. And plus, Leander, it has a discovery feature. So if you want to, listen to like an Apple podcast or like a tech podcast, and you're not really sure what you want to listen to, like a music podcast, it will actually make suggestions for you. Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of like rudimentary suggestions, like here are the most popular ones. Check this out.
Does the CultCast come up on there?
No. It doesn't.
Oh, great.
Can't support it then.
We're gonna talk to them about that. Yeah, we'll definitely. I'll send Mark an email. I'm sure he'll or Marco.
Get right on it.
Jump right on that. Yeah, right. Yeah, we need to be like in the top tech section. Don't you agree? Like, like NPR Tech, TED Talks Tech, CultCast. I think that's an appropriate position for us. In any case, it's cool that podcasting is growing, and it's hard to believe it's only been around for 10 years. And it really makes me respect guys like Mattcast or like podcasts like the Mattcast that has been around for like the entire time, because it's gotten to be so much more usable now. I mean, anyone can download podcasts, and before, from what I understand, it was really kind of like an archaic process to even get these things onto your I guess your iPod. Remember? Mm-hmm. We didn't have iPhones back then. We should move on to our get to know your cultist. But before we do that, I want to talk to you guys about Squarespace. And actually, we have a little announcement to make. So you guys know that I love Squarespace. It's the place that I recommend anyone go if you need a website to create a portfolio, if you want to start an online store, if you want to showcase your photography or your artwork. Squarespace makes it really easy and fast to get set up with a website quickly. You don't need to know any code. And in mere moments, you can be up with a website. You can add your social media to it. And your website will look good on any device that visits, iPhone, iPad, Mac. It doesn't matter because Squarespace does all the magic in the background to make your site look good. I'm happy to announce that we finally have a website where you can go and actually like peruse all the show notes, You can listen to different episodes. Now, all this stuff has all been available on Cultimac since we started the show. But this is all aggregated, all in one place. So you don't have to go hunt through for different episodes. They're all just right there. Head on over to thecultcast.com and you'll see our new website. You can leave comments. You can make suggestions. You can see all the favorite and rave picks that we've had. You can see any picks that we've made for any segment that we do. And we built the entire website on Squarespace. We didn't do any coding at all. It was just drag and drop. It was such an easy experience to build this website. And the website, I think, looks great. It's just a basic website. You're looking at it right now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of a basic website, but it looks good on an iPhone. It looks good on an iPad. And it's going to be the home of show notes and episodes in case, you want to listen to the show on your iPhone or something and you want to see the show notes as well. Head on over to thecultcast.com. If you need a website, I cannot recommend Squarespace more highly. It's the only place I know of that makes it this easy to build a website that actually looks good. And their interface that you use to create your own website is so fine-tuned. They have such excellent designers working at Squarespace. It's really intuitive and it's beautiful, which matters to me. Head on over to squarespace.com. You can start a free trial. You can use it for free for 2 weeks, I believe. And you don't need to give them your credit card number or anything like that. You can just sign up with your email address. You'll be up and running in no time. And if you like what you see, you can save 10% off any order. Just use the code CultCast at checkout. And you'll save 10% off a month of service, a year of service, whatever you decide to buy, you'll save 10%. I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this episode. And come check out our website, thecultcast.com. Tell us what you think. Comment on an episode or something. Tell us how much you love us. Okay, guys, let's move on to a all-new Get to Know Your Cultist. This is a segment where we have our listeners ask questions that we then answer. We've got a couple of good questions here. The first one, actually, before I tell you who it's from, we're giving away CultCast koozies. So if we choose your question, make sure you reach out to me on Facebook, on Twitter, whichever medium you use to donate your question. And if you give me your address, we will send you a CultCast beer koozie. We've got some extras from our CultCast party. Those are arguably one of the best parts of our party.
Yeah.
Landon, do you have any of your koozies left?
I still got mine right here.
Nice. You need to put a beer in that guy. That's what you need to do. Okay. This question is from Mark Allen. He asks, if, God forbid, Apple products suddenly vanished, what other tech would you get, i.e. smartphones, laptops, tablets, etc., etc.? Buster, what do you got?
Sony, man. I love Sony. I think they always have I don't know. I really have, before I liked Apple, I thought Sony always had, really cool futuristic stuff. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they've fallen off over the last decade, but I think before Apple was, the cool brand, Sony was, making some really cool stuff.
Leander, having written the book on Steve Jobs, he was really inspired by Sony, too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he loves Sony. Yeah, he had, he wanted Apple to be, originally the sort of the Sony of the computer industry. So that was a big model for him, yeah.
And at which point he did that and then destroyed them.
Sony's always trying crazy stuff. That's why I like them. Their cameras, they cram a full sensor into a mirrorless camera. Their smartphones aren't the best, but they look really cool. So as far as looks go, I think Sony's got some cool stuff.
I used to have a Sony mini disc player before the iPods existed. In order to get music onto it, you had to record it in real time. So I would leave my mini disc player connected to my computer all night long playing music. And that way, when I went the next day, it had 7 or 8 hours of music on it. It was just like a digital tape recorder, but it was beautiful. It was sparkly metallic blue.
Yeah.
It looked
I always
so
wanted
good.
One of those, but they never really took off. So
Yeah, I barely used mine either. After I grew weary of actually spending 8 hours putting music on it. Leander, what tech would you be into?
Sonos, I guess. Can I use Sonos?
Oh, gosh.
They don't make computers.
It could be any tech. You could go with Sonos.
Did it say any tech?
I should have seen
computers?
this coming. I apologize to everybody listening.
Well, they've got that. They've created the ecosystem, right? The software and the services. No one else is doing that. That's the problem with Sony, right? They do the nice hardware, but they do not. They have really bad software.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they don't have any internet services. And these days, you got to build. You can't just build a gadget. I mean, it's got to connect to something. And have good software, have a good UI. And Sonos, I think, is probably the best the best out there. In fact, I think there's Apple and Sonos, and that's about it. I don't know. I suppose that's not fair.
But let me ask you this: could Sonos exist without Apple?
What do you mean?
Totally, they did before.
So you can stream stuff to your Sonos. I don't have a lot of experience with the Sonos. You can stream stuff to your Sonos from other devices just as easily.
Yeah. And they've got this universal search now. Like the new version of their app, which just came out like a month or two ago, has this universal search. So it'll search across all the different services you connect to, and it's great. I mean, this is the way the Apple TV, and in fact, any media player should be. It's totally pointing the way for every single media player on the planet. I mean, like on the Apple TV, instead of going in, instead of you got to go through and search each individual app. You got to go look on Netflix. Oh, is that movie there, or in the movie app, or whatever. Here you have a universal search, and you put in what you search for your band, Bob Dylan or whatever, and it'll tell you if it's in Beats playlists, if it's on Spotify, if it's in your own music library, what Pandora stations there are. It's great. Nice. It's
that's kind of how the Xbox One universal search works too. Like if you're doing a search, you can just say, hey, I want to watch Hook. And it will be like, okay, Hook's available on Hulu, it's available on Netflix, it's available on Amazon. Which one do you want to watch? Is that kind of similar to how it works?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it makes it, way easier to use rather than searching for each app individually.
Yeah, so I mean, if Xbox, I don't know that, but if they've got, why doesn't everyone do that this way?
They should. Apple should buy Sonos.
They really should. No, for sure.
It kind of makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
No,
I mean, they have very similar
definitely
philosophies
think so,
on design and that kind of thing, so it seems like it'd be a natural fit.
Yeah, or Beats should buy Sonos. Either way, it would fold in pretty easily with them.
Right. That's a good idea. That's a great idea. Let's tell Tim.
I'm going to email him right now. Hold on, I'm texting him. Hey, yo, it's me.
I'm sure you'll get a fee for that.
Sonos by Dr. Dre. That's the next product they're going to release. It's going to be red. That's the only difference. Okay, let's see. My favorite technology. Gosh, this is a tough question. I'm going to go with Tesla. Those are kind of big gadgets, right? Because they don't have any like gasoline-powered parts, so that's all just like electronics.
It's all coal-powered, yeah.
It's all coal-powered. Hey, it could be sun-powered.
No, it's all
wind-powered.
Yeah.
Did you hear about their new version where they're adding a windmill to the top of it? Recharges you drive. I'm just joking. That's not true.
They just did, and they added infinity miles warranty, right?
They did, yeah. And
what?
So they had they changed their business practices. So now they used to have a mileage warranty plus a time warranty. So like 100,000 miles or 7 years. They got rid of the mileage altogether. Like you can have as many miles on this car as you want, as long as it's within this time period. We'll fix any problems that it has.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is very admirable because Elon Musk just keeps doing things that are benefiting the consumer instead of benefiting his own company, which I think people really respect about him.
Well, that's how he spins it. And I imagine, but they looked at the stats. I mean, there must be one person who does more than, infinite miles, right? There's going to be only a few outliers.
Yeah, but PR, like companies like Honda, it's great PR, but they only give a 36,000 mile warranty or something. Or I don't think they're very long. And Hondas go forever.
I thought most of them was 100,000 now was a standard.
Are they? I don't know. I've never bought a new car, so maybe I'm not the best guy to answer that question. I don't think I've owned a car made before or after the year 2000.
Yeah, well, as far as I know, I think 100,000 is the standard now, but I could be wrong. But the time limit, it's not. The kicker there is the time warranty, is the time limit, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not they won't warranty it for forever. It's 8 years or whatever,
That would be pretty awesome, though.
But still, yeah, he's a savvy guy, and definitely they're beautiful things. Have you ever driven one?
I've never actually driven one, no. But like a lot of people who like cars, I just think they're beautiful. I think what they're doing to change the way people buy cars is really amazing. And ever since I drove that electric BMW at CES, I mean, that thing is seconds slower than the Model S. So I can only imagine it would be really kind of fun to drive. And I'm just into cars. I like cars, even though mine's kind of old and crappy.
Yeah.
I daydream about the day I might own a nicer one.
You go down for a test drive.
I should dress up really nicely.
Yeah.
And go down for a test drive. Like, yes, I have taken a break from my lawyering job to come down here and test drive this automobile that I can totally afford. Who's going to take me for a ride in this automobile?
Yeah, good luck with that.
I'm going to try it. Okay, second question, final question. This one comes from Machiel van Dorst. I hope I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. He says, stolen from Reddit, but I'd like to see what you guys come up with. You saved President Obama's life, and he owes you a favor. What favor do you ask for? Leander.
Well,
you want to have those felonies cleared from your record? Those felony flashing charges cleared from your record?
Flashing. I think that's the last crime I'm going to be committing. I'm more of a cover-upper.
I saw your collection of trench coats. Don't lie.
What favor would I ask?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd ask him to go to Ferguson, I think, and say something that was like a little more, impactful than the statements that he's been making so far.
How noble of you. Do something for the people.
Well, yeah, that's been on my mind the last few days, so that's the first thing that popped into my head.
Okay. Buster, what do you got?
I want a lifetime exemption from all federal taxes.
Oh,
the state,
that's a great one.
Federal,
yeah. Actually, I was thinking I could go with that one, too, because that would be that would actually be a great ask.
Right?
I'll tell you what, though, guys. I won't need an exemption from taxes, because after I go to Area 51... I'm not going to be on this planet anymore. I'm going to be like, hey, that's a cool spaceship. And he'll be like, oh, do you want to meet the alien that drives it? And he'll take me over to the alien's office.
Oh, is that where you're going to get a tour of Area 51?
Yeah.
That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. And I'll be the only civilian alive that can, walk through there and meet all the different aliens and stuff and then maybe go on a test drive. And, when people see, strange sightings at night, that will be me with...
Cool.
An alien hanging out in the sky. That would be pretty awesome. Do you guys think that aliens actually exist at Area 51?
No.
What?
Well, Buster's from there.
Yeah.
Have you ever, circled the perimeter with binoculars, Buster?
No, I never have.
Oh.
Well, there you go. That's why he doesn't know.
So you don't know, dude.
I don't know, no.
Who sounds like the idiot now? Because I'm going to hang out with aliens, and you're not. Great questions this week. Thank you to Mark Allen. Thank you to Machiel Van Dorst. Hey guys, reach out to me on Facebook. Let me know your addresses, and you are going to get an excellent prize, a CultCast koozie. I think we should go ahead and wrap it up there, guys.
Okay.
Cheers.
Right.
Cheers. Oh.
You don't have a beer, Lander?
No, I've got nothing.
Bummer.
I'm thinking of my lunch, though, so...
Yeah, I bet you have a giant hoagie just on hold, don't you?
No, I got a piece of sea bass. Sea
bass?
Yeah.
Jeez, you are so fancy. All right, well, that's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. Head on over to thecultcast.com. Check out our website. You can also come hang out with us on Twitter. I'm at Airfon, Leander's L. Caney, Buster's BST3R. And, of course... For all the best iPhone 6 news, make sure you're following Cult of Mac on Twitter. We got iPhone 6. They're on the horizon, y'all. They're coming up. This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Next time. I'm losing my motion here.
First question. Oh my gosh.
What's that?
Sorry. My access keeps coming on.
What was that?
Throughout the podcast, for some reason, my iPhone kept...
I heard that too.
Turn it on automatically, yeah. Oh, the Gov is here.
Hey, guys.
Hello, it's me, Leander.
Hello. So nice to hear your voice again.
Hey, there he is.
Is it working?
Yeah. Hey, you and Buster kind of have the same hairstyle going on right now.
Yeah, the short hair, don't care look.
The short hair, don't care. Mine's kind of long hair, don't care.
Not really that bald.